guys, so today's video is going to be my September favorites and fails. So basically I'm going to be going through all my favorite products of the month and some things that just didn't work out for me. So this month has largely been the month of eyeshadow palettes and foundations. I've tried out a bunch of different new eyeshadow palettes and foundations, but among those things, I've just picked out some of my favorite standout products of the month, so I really want to share those with you guys. So that's enough chit chat. Without further ado, let's get right into my favorites. Okay, so I'm going to start off with my first favorite of the month, which is also one of the newest eyeshadow palettes to my collection, and this is the Too Faced Just PT Mattes palette. So I bought this from Sephora. It's $45. First of all, I love the outside packaging. Very, very sturdy. You have like a nice plastic outer and a gold rim, so it's really nice and aesthetically pleasing, but also sturdy enough to travel a lot with. You also get a really big mirror inside as well. This palette actually came a little bit damaged. I had to repress this brown shade here, but I think I did a pretty good job in getting it back to what it would normally look like. But besides packaging aesthetics, it's just a really amazing palette. So first things first, it smells absolutely wonderful. It's not like an artificial peach scent either, like the original Sweet Peach palette. This is more of an authentic peach palette smell. It's just very pleasant to smell when you just open the palette. Over time though, I do think the scent is going to fade a little bit. As you can see, it's a really warm toned array of shadows, so I think these are really beautiful colors for fall. They did veer away from the typical orange toned warm tone palette, and instead they went for more burgundy shades, so I think it's a really nice transition from summer to fall. And then again, Too Faced was kind of in a rut with their product quality. I feel like a lot of their new releases people haven't really been enjoying, but this I think is a redemption. It's really great quality, very pigmented and blendable, exactly what you would expect from getting a $45 palette from Too Faced itself. Because I feel like a lot of their stuff hasn't been really living up to the Too Faced name and what you'd expect from a high-end product like that. But this is really living up to my expectations, and another thing I love so much about this is that there's a lot of really nice neutral transition shades, so you have enough light shades to create a full look on your eyes. Sometimes I just don't really feel like dealing with a shimmer shade, so I think the fact that this is all mattes makes it very wearable. So overall, this has really been a standout. I absolutely love this palette, and I cannot wait to make more looks with it. I'm actually going to do a dupe video because I found a really good dupe for this palette. So if you want to stay tuned for that and see a $10 dupe for this $45 eyeshadow palette, please stay tuned on my channel. But until then, yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite palettes, and I'm so happy that I got it. So the next item on my favorites list is also from one of the biggest beauty launches of September, and that was of course Fenty Beauty by Rihanna. So I picked up the Pro Filter foundation. I'm sure you've seen a ton about this foundation. I'm not going to try to talk your ears off, but it's so amazing. First of all, I love that Rihanna included 40 shades in her new foundation line. I think that's amazingly inclusive. For a while, people who were really light or really dark had to opt for brands like Makeup Forever, which are not cruelty-free, so I think the fact that she came out with a cruelty-free option and just a really good quality foundation. Also, I love that she didn't price it at an extremely high-end rate. This is $34, which is a really good price point for a high-end foundation. It's not exorbitantly expensive, like $50 or so. So I think that's a really great move by Rihanna. I absolutely love the packaging on this foundation. It's very sleek. You have a nice frosted bottle, and then you have this nice white cap, so it just looks very elegant on your vanity. And the formula itself, it dries down to a very nice matte. It looks almost velvety on the skin, but it still feels pretty comfortable. Honestly, sometimes I even go without setting it with a powder, which is I don't normally do with other foundations, but this one, since it's matte and I feel like it's going to stay there all day long, I don't really set it with a powder. You get a really beautiful, great coverage with this, and it also does stay on pretty much all day long. I put it on at like 5:30 in the morning, and then I wear it until like 6 o'clock. So overall, it lasts for like 12 hours, maybe even more. It still looks good when I am taking it off. So I absolutely love this foundation. Definitely going to be using this for the rest of the year. I also like the texture of it. It's very liquidy. It's not like thick and moussey, so I feel like it's easier to blend it on your skin, if that makes sense. So overall, I think you'll definitely be able to find your shade in here because she included a lot of different shades and different shade undertones. So I think that's very important for detecting a perfect shade match, because while you might be a certain shade, you might not be able to find a specific undertone in other brands. So I think the fact that she included a bunch of different undertones for her foundation is amazing. So yeah, I definitely recommend this. By the way, I am in the shade 140, so that is, I think, the 4th lightest shade. Anyways, it's a really amazing foundation. I'm so glad I bought it, and I cannot wait to see what Fenty Beauty comes out with next. I'm not going to be buying the eyeshadow palette because it's all shimmers, so I don't really like that, but I really cannot wait to see where she goes with this brand because it's off to such an amazing start. So next up on my favorites list is actually something that's been out of stock recently, so I feel kind of bad mentioning it in this video, but it's just such an amazing product, and I've definitely been loving it during the month of September, so I really wanted to mention it. These are the Kim Tai Cake Face Beauty Lashes. The style of these lashes is called Lionhearted. First of all, the packaging, I mean, beautiful. You just have a really elegant, sleek black box and a very beautiful white bow. You have Kim Tai on the front, Cake Face Beauty here on the rim, and then gold glitter. Also on the back you have the cruelty-free bunny because they are cruelty-free. no inks were harmed in the making of these lashes, and they're actually faux silk fibers. So I think the fact that she made these no animals harmed was amazing. The inside is also gold glitter. I love the packaging. I love all the work she put into these lashes, and I think it really paid off because these are absolutely stunning. They're super, super soft and very 3D as well. My favorite way to wear these, not only for special occasions, but I actually love wearing these for Instagram posts because you get that really nice fanned out, gorgeous lash. Really highlights and calls attention to your eye area for your makeup posts. So if you take pictures of your makeup and post it on Instagram, I would definitely recommend getting beautiful lashes like these ones because I think it really just completes the whole look. I love having this sitting out on my vanity. It's just such a beautiful box. And I think Kim Tai did such an amazing job with these beautiful lashes. So yeah, definitely a favorite of September. So my next favorite of the month is actually a very affordable product. This is from ColourPop. It is the Lippy Sticks in the shade Taurus. So this is a matte Lippy Sticks and it is created by Kathleen Lights. So I absolutely love, love, love this lipstick. It's kind of like a grungy, warm brown shade, but what I love about it is that it's super, super wearable. So the old me might have shied away from like more brown shades or purple shades or any kind of lip shade that's not pink or red, but this is just so, so beautiful. But this, in a weird way, while it is unique, it's still very, very wearable and just looks kind of natural on the lips. And of course, if you have a darker skin tone, this would be a beautiful nude on you because it is a brown shade. Like I said, it's a wearable brown. I think it's a perfect fall color, just very warm, and it kind of looks very different on different skin tones because I noticed that it looks super different on Kathleen than it does on me. Even though we're both very, very pale in skin tone, it just looks very different on her. So I think it would look amazing on different undertones. Besides that, the formula of ColourPop's Lippy Sticks are very pigmented and creamy. I noticed a really amazing staying power as well, even if I do have like food throughout the day. I might wear this to classes and it'll stay on from like 5:30 to about 2:30 when I get home. Then another thing that I love about the Lippy Sticks is that it's a very small detailed tip. One of my problems with regular lipstick is that it's kind of hard to get nice precise edges, so I always have to go in with a lip liner, but I personally hate lip liners. So this one kind of forgoes the need for a lip liner. You can just gently outline your lips with a small tip, and yeah, it's perfect. This has hands down been one of my favorite fall colors. I absolutely love this shade, and I love, love, love ColourPop's Lippy Sticks. So this has been one of my September favorites. Alright, so this next item has a little bit of controversy surrounding it, and personally I love it. I know a lot of people hate it and a lot of people really love it. There doesn't seem to be an in-between with this product. It is the Anastasia Subculture palette. So first I've got to address the controversy. People were saying that this is very powdery, doesn't blend that easily, it's just very not on par with the quality you'd expect from Anastasia Beverly Hills. And I just have to say, even though I do love this palette, I do respect everyone else's opinions on this palette. I get why some people really didn't like it. It's a very, very pigmented formula, and it is very powdery because it's so softly pressed. If you're going in with a ton of shadow and if you're using it like you might use any other shadow, it is going to be very hard to blend out. So I get why people did not like this palette. I do think the controversy kind of got out of hand because you had some people who were saying that they liked it, and then a lot of people saying that they hated it, and then some people were attacking other people saying that they were lying. But I don't think anyone's wrong. I think everyone's entitled to their own opinions. Some people did not like this palette. I personally loved it. First of all, the shade range is really beautiful. I think Norvina did a really amazing job just putting together the colors of this palette. It just flows together in such an edgy and like very unique way, but I can still use these shadows to create very cohesive looks on the eyes. They are super, super pigmented. The most pigmented shadows I have in my entire collection, and they are very powdery because they're so softly pressed. They're almost like a pressed pigment. However, despite its powderiness, I do find it to be workable. One of my favorite tips for using this is to use a very, very soft brush. I like to use my softest brushes when I'm using this palette because I find that if I'm using a brush where the bristles are just a little bit more scratchy, it's going to kick up even more powder. So I like to just go in with a very soft brush, just like lightly, very lightly tap it into the shadows and then just blend it onto my eyes. I am wearing some of the green shades on my eyes today. I really like how this look turned out. I didn't have any problems with blending because I went in with a very, very small amount. Honestly, by using that method, I haven't had really any blending issues with this palette, but I understand why some people have. Another big tip that I have is to use an eye primer. Overall, I've been really loving the looks I've been creating with this one. I'm definitely going to be using it for the rest of fall. I think it's a really beautiful color palette, honestly, and I also don't really mind taking time to work with it, but I understand why people wouldn't want to have to do that, especially since this is like $45. I get why some people don't like it. Personally, I love it, but yeah, I respect everyone's opinions on this one. I get that it's a very mixed issue, and yeah. And yeah, personally, I love this palette, but I definitely wouldn't recommend it for beginners. And if you don't really think that you're going to be able to work with the formula, you should definitely skip it. My next favorite is another foundation. I actually bought this foundation earlier this year. I think it was like April or March when I bought this. But I just like recently rediscovered it, and I just remembered how much I love this foundation so much. And it is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea water foundation. I have 2 bottles of that, so you really know that that means I love this foundation. Both are in the shade Fairlight Neutral. This is just like a refill for when I run out of this one, but I don't think I'm going to run out of it anytime soon because I found a way to get the most wear out of this foundation by using the smallest amount. This dries. So while this is a water foundation, so it goes on very light on the skin, it just feels very liquidy when you're putting it on, it does dry down to a very nice matte finish. I also love that it's medium to full coverage. I wouldn't really expect that from like a water foundation, but for some reason this is just like very, very pigmented and just creates the most beautiful finish on the skin. It also feels very light on the skin, so if you have a problem with like full to medium coverage foundations where you just feel like it kind of feels cakey on the skin, I would recommend going for this one because it just feels very light and beautiful on the face. The thing I love about it is that it doesn't slide around the face during the day, so I'm not going to notice it bunching up around my forehead or my nose. That's usually where things get kind of oily and bunch up a little bit. This one, amongst some other foundations that I consider to be the best of the best, don't really do that to me, so I love that. So I've definitely been reaching for this very often. I think it's a really nice foundation for summer and for like early fall. So honestly, it's a really good foundation year round, so I definitely recommend it to you guys. Yeah, absolutely love this foundation so much, and I'm so glad that I rediscovered it in my collection. So my next 2 favorites are more pairs of lashes, but one of these is actually a really good dupe for the Kim Tai lashes. So these are from Lash Pop Lashes. I picked up a few of these styles at Planet Beauty, but these are 2 of my favorites. So the ones I'm actually wearing on my eyes right now are the Cantaloupe with Me. They're long enough to a point where they're nice and voluminous and full, and they just look very like beautiful and fluffy on the eyes, but they're also natural enough so that they don't look like obvious falsies. Whereas these ones are a lot more dramatic. These are the Sen Nudes, and these are actually a really good dupe for the Kim Tai Lionhearted lashes. The style Sen Nudes are very, very fluffy. They're a lot more 3D than the Cantaloupe with Me ones. And again, they're very, very good for Instagram photos. So these have been 2 of my favorites. Again, they are cruelty-free lashes, faux silk fibers. It says you can use this up to 10 times. I'm definitely going to be using these for a lot more. I actually use my lashes for like 20 to 50 uses. I know that's kind of crazy, but I have a way of maintaining them so that they stay in really good condition because I don't want to waste more money on buying a bunch of different pairs of lashes. So these are nice and long, they're very crisscross and natural. The hairs feel really soft as well, and also the bandwidth is not too thick, so it's not that hard to get onto your eyes. So overall, I think they are a perfect alternative to mink lashes. Very, very fluffy. Also, they're pretty affordable as well. I think these ones were $9 and these were $8. Kind of around the ballpark of House of Lashes lashes. Pretty affordable, really, really gorgeous. I absolutely love these, and I'm so glad that I found this brand because new favorite lashes, honestly. So my next favorite is very, very affordable. This is from Wet n Wild, one of the cheapest brands at the drugstore. These are the Wet n Wild contour sticks. So I have the shade 805, Call Me Maple. So this is not a contour for me, it's actually very warm, so I use this as a bronzer. I don't actually cream contour that often, but I like using this just to warm up my face a little bit after I put on my foundation. So I will use this up here on my forehead, just kind of by the hairline, and then warm up my face a little bit on the perimeter. It blends out really, really nicely with a brush or a sponge, so you can use either one of those if you prefer. Honestly, I would compare this to the KKW contour sticks. However, I think you even get more product in this one. Yeah, not only an amazing deal, but just such an amazing product. You do have cooler tone shades if you want to actually cream contour with this one, but I like using it as a cream bronzer just to warm up my face a little bit on the outsides. I honestly am not a huge bronzer person. I don't really like bronzer on my face, but I do like using this. So this is kind of a step into the bronzer world for me. I really, really like it, and I'm so glad that I picked this up because it's very, very worth the price. So my last favorite of the month is actually a sponge that I picked up from Sephora. Manny MUA was recommending this. He says it's his favorite sponge, so I really wanted to try it out. This is the Veramona Cake and Bake Beauty Sponge. So as you can see, it's kind of a parallelogram shaped sponge. First of all, it creates a really nice sharp baking line. So if you're baking out your contour, you can honestly just go like swoop with the powder and you get a really nice sharp contour. Personally, I don't like baking my contour. I do like using this when I'm doing eyeshadow. I just kind of like put a little powder here so that when I'm doing my wing, I can just brush away the powder at the end and I'll have a nice precise wing. When I first tried this out, I wasn't actually sure that I liked it because it's a very firm sponge. It's a lot firmer than the Real Technique sponge, definitely firmer than the Fenty Beauty sponge. That's very, very soft. So it's a little bit firmer, and I don't normally like that within beauty sponges, so I was a little worried I wasn't gonna like it, but I actually liked it a lot. It blended out my foundation really, really well. I used it today. You probably can't even see my foundation, but it did blend out very, very well. And then of course it lives up to the same for baking. Really, really precise underneath your eyes if you're baking under your eyes with your concealer. Overall, I just think it's a really, really good sponge. Also, it's $14, so not as expensive as the Beauty Blender. I really, really like it. I should have washed it before this video because it looks kind of ratty and dirty because I just used it this morning. But yeah, really, really good sponge. I'm very glad that I bought it. I think it's a really amazing product. Alright, now on to some not so amazing products. So these are my fails of the month.
I will read you to filth.
I'm constantly buying new makeup and I get to try a lot of new makeup, which I really usually end up liking. However, there are a lot of products I just don't like at all, and these are some of the ones that I was kind of disappointed with this month. The first one is actually from the same launch as the Too Faced Just Peachy Matte palette that I just mentioned in my video. It is the primer. It is the Too Faced Primed and Peachy Cool Matte Skin Perfecting Primer. So obviously I have a little sample size. I did not buy the full size. I just wanted to try this one out. And honestly, I don't think it's bad. I'm not saying it's the best, but it's not the worst.
I ain't saying I'm the best, but I ain't the worst.
I would expect a lot more out of a high-end primer. For me, this just really didn't do anything. I just don't find that this mattifies my skin at all. I think that mattifying is up to the foundation, not the primer. But even if it was up to the primer, this just didn't really do anything in terms of mattifying my skin. It does smell good. I will give it that. It has that nice peachy smell just like the palette does. It's nothing special. I didn't notice any extended makeup wear. I thought it was just like a regular kind of like moisturizer that you put on under your foundation. So for the price, I just don't think that it's worth it. Really disappointed in this. I really wanted to like it so much. So I'm not saying it's the worst. I do use it from time to time. I just don't really think it does anything. So yeah, kind of disappointing to me. Alright, now I have these products, which unlike the Too Faced primer, they weren't just like mildly disappointing. These were actually awful. I actually hated these so much.
This little queen is trying to really come for me today.
These are the Wet n Wild Glitter Single Eyeshadows. So I have the gold one here, and then this kind of like pink glittery one. So they look really, really pretty in the pan, but they crease so badly on the eyes. Like, first of all, it's really hard to get them onto the eyes in the first place. They don't really pick up on a brush. You do have to use your fingers, and you have to dig really hard into these pans. It's still just not worth the $1. It's really, really hard to get these onto your eyes, even if you do go in with your finger, which should be a lot easier than a brush. Ended up all up in my crease with my eyelids just left bare. And also it's just like kind of a gross texture. It feels kind of like oily and greasy, like, If you're wanting like affordable glitter, I would definitely go for like an inexpensive loose glitter, a lot easier to use in my opinion, a little bit messier, so you just have to do your eyes first, but these ones are just not good at all. They crease really badly. No. So stay away from these ones. These are definitely in my fails list. Next on my disappointments was actually another palette. This is from one of my favorite brands, Morphe. It is a 25B palette. I just talked about this in my new palettes of 2017. It is a relatively new release. And then again, like the Too Faced primer, I'm not saying it's bad. It's actually a very, very good quality palette. Colors are nice and pigmented. You do get a lot of mattes in here. So it's very, very easy to create a nice versatile full look, and I think it's a very, very good palette for a beginner. But that's the thing, I'm not a beginner. I have a lot of palettes in my collection. I just really did not need this, so I kind of regret buying it for that reason. It's just that like every color in here, with the exception of these two really beautiful like burgundy shades, I have already in my collection. I really just did not need this palette at all. Lighter mattes are nice. You do get a lot of nice transitions in here. You do need to build them a little bit more because they are lighter matte shades, but again, that's kind of like typical for most palettes. And the shimmers in here are kind of underwhelming with a brush. You do need to use your fingers, and then you get really nice color payoff, but with a brush, I just don't find that they perform as well. With that being said, it's a really, really good quality palette. If you're like new to makeup, if you're wanting to get into makeup, and you want just like a nice affordable palette to start off using, this is beautiful. I think you can create really nice burgundy looks with this, but also can create really nice neutral looks. So if you're wanting something very versatile like this, I definitely pick it up. But honestly, I just didn't need it in my collection. It's just another $20 that I spent. It's a good palette, and I definitely will get some use out of it, but like, I don't know why I bought it. It is good. I'm just kind of disappointed in myself that I bought this. My last fail of the month is from ColourPop. I'm very, very disappointed in this product because I really wanted to like it. I actually waited till this came back into stock so I could buy it. It is the ColourPop Gimme More Pressed Powder Highlighting Palette. What I don't like in here is the formula. I feel like even though the ColourPop Super Shock highlighters are very, very good, these ones are just not the same quality. I don't know if it's the same quality as the pressed highlighters that they have in singles. I just don't really like these. In my opinion, they're too glittery of a highlight. The only glittery highlights I like to use are the Anastasia Beverly Hills ones, and those ones you don't need to build to get a really nice blinding highlight. These ones you kind of do. This is actually $18, and I know that it's out of stock right now, so if you were thinking about buying this when it restocks, honestly, I would probably skip it. If you're a similar skin tone to me, I don't think you're gonna like it. Honestly, I just wasn't really impressed with the formula, and it was like too glittery for me, too chunky on the cheeks, and it just didn't really perform the way I wanted it to. So yeah, this was kind of a disappointment for me, and that wraps up my video. I hope you guys enjoyed my September favorites and fails. I had a lot of fun filming this video, and I also had a lot of fun trying out these new products of the month. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. Comment down below, let me know what you've been trying out in the month of September that you really like. Yeah, thank you so much for watching my video. If you made it to the very end, I love you.